Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be showing you how you can manually calculate time on target even if you have things with complicated waypoints. Now keep in mind, we can do a lot of this already with the mission planner, but sometimes it's fun to do it the old way. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to use the world's simplest spreadsheet. Again, trying to keep this relatively basic here. We have simple inputs. We're going to have the cruise speed of the weapon, which we can get right out of the database. It's a Tomahawk, it's going to be 500. We have the arrival time of the weapon, and then of course all we have to do is enter the total distance the specific weapon needs to travel. So one of the things you can see here is my travel time here is in minutes, it doesn't do anything, and of course my launch time is here. Now let's say that we're traveling 250 nautical miles. Now if you think that through really quickly, you'll realize 250 is half of 500, meaning it's going to take 30 minutes to get to its target. So when I press enter, you'll see here that it quickly calculates 30 minutes, and it tells me my launch time, of course, will be 9:30 a.m. Cool stuff, right? So the calculations for this is actually really simple. To get travel time, we simply take the distance divided by the cruise speed, and you multiply that whole business by 60 to get minutes. Now for launch time, this is where the math gets a little weird. We're going to take the time that the weapon needs to be struck, and then we're going to subtract the time that the minutes is divided by 1440. Now you're sitting there going, 1440, I feel like I've heard that number before. That's correct. That is how many minutes there are in a day. And basically, we're subtracting days. Unfortunately, they use decimal days as times inside of sheets. And that would give us our time. So if we had 100 here, 150, 200, 250, you can see that the spreadsheet will quickly tell me exactly what times I need to launch my weapons in order to get there at the same time. So with that taken care of, let's head back over here and actually let's work it out. So let's assume one of our weapons is going to be a straight shot. So if I look at that there, that's, what do we got, 149.5. So I'm going to come down here. I'll clear this all out. 149.5 means we need to launch at 942 for my straight shot. That's pretty easy. Let's go ahead and do a couple of deflection shots here. We'll do one here, we'll do one here, and we'll do one here. So this is going to launch from here. It's going to travel a distance of 154.1. 154.1, and then from the 154.1, again, Control D, I'm going to drag down to the target. That's going to be 30.1 plus 30.1. I'm just working this out in the sheet as I go here. All right, let's take this shot here. That's going to come down to here, and that's going to be about 155.7. 155.7. You got to be careful with your decimals. And then from that point, it's going to be traveling up to here, right there. And that is a 45.1 plus 45.1. Nice. Oop, that was 451. That could be a problem. All right. And then our last shot, which is actually going to come from inland, more or less. We're going to go all the way to here. We can actually do it from here to here to here if you wanted, but I'm going to do it the easy way. Click on that weapon right there, and that looks like 188.3. 188.3 plus. And we need to measure the distance between that waypoint and our target, which is going to be about 40.2. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. So you can take a look. Ta-da! So we can see here very clearly that our first weapon is going to be launching at 9:32. That's very soon. It's also going to be traveling a distance of 228 miles, and it's going to take it 27 minutes to do it. Our final missile is going to launch at 9:42. Now, we have to be really careful with time acceleration here. So what I actually recommend doing is hitting the buttons at the bottom here. So if I hit that and I unpause, theoretically, that should only get me a minute or so, but I'm going to monitor it real carefully here. Kind of be gentle, because the amount of times I've overshot my targets is ridiculous. All right, we're looking for 9:32 and 35 seconds. All right, almost there. 9:32 and 35 seconds. Get ready on the space bar. 2, 1, boop, 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 boop. Pause. All right, let's do it. So I'm going to do Shift F1. I'm going to click on the target. I'm going to go ahead and come down to my tactical Tomahawk. Here's the one I've got loaded. Double click. I'm going to click it. Press Plat Course. And now you can see its final destination. But I'm actually going to click right here because it's going to be my waypoint. And if you notice here, it's going to go all the way past the site, hit that waypoint. It's actually going to turn around and come back that way. Press the Escape key. I'll go ahead and close the screen. And we're going to unpause. Our next weapon is going to be 9:35 and 54 seconds. All right, time to launch. Shift F1, we'll go ahead and pick the next target. We're going to go ahead and fire another one. If this gives you trouble, by the way, with this double click, one of the things you can do is you can clear the course, and then if you click it, you can then plot the course. Remember, that's going to be the weapon that we have down here. Good. So I'm going to go ahead and unpause, and it should go ahead and deploy that weapon, which it did. Perfect. Our next launch is 9:37 in 54 seconds. 9:37. I may have just broken the course, but that's okay. You'll get the idea when we get there. All right, here we go. 2, 3, pause. All right, Shift F1, we'll select the target again. Select the tactical tomahawk, grab this one, clear course, click it, plot course, and we're going to pick that point that's all the way up here. Click right there and press the escape key, close, unpause. There it goes. It's on its way. All right, our next weapon is 942 in 4 seconds. And in my infinite brilliance, I can't talk, but I accidentally overshot it by quite a bit here. So unfortunately, we're not going to see the direct shot, but that's okay. Anyway, but what we are going to get to see is the other shots, and that's fine because these were the tricky ones anyway. Now, what you'll observe here is because we did the math so precisely, all 3 of those weapons are arriving at the target more or less simultaneously. Any inaccuracies from this process that you're observing right now is really because I didn't measure it accurately enough. And if we actually were to unpause this and check, you will notice our first weapon struck at 59, our second at 08, and our final weapon at 14. So this is an interval of 9 seconds. This is an interval of 6 seconds. Now that is what I call accurate. Enjoy.